I wanted you to see that I took the stripes, the pattern, and stitched all the 12 rows together, and then I line them up and stitch all of the 20 rows together lengthwise, and then you press them all. I want you to see that these I press one way and then press the other ones the opposite way. So this will be right up in that groove and help to keep your pattern aligned perfect, so you get those points and you stitch everything together at 1/4 of an inch. So now I'll stitch all these together and then stitch all these together. I'll stitch 2 and 2 and 2 and then join them all together and then join the whole great big pattern together. You're going to end up with this beautiful quilted pattern, and that is going to be my baby coverlet. So like a pro. Take your time. I would probably make my pattern, cut out all my pieces, sew my pieces together, these patterns, and then join them all together, and you end up with a beautiful quilt. Take your time. Just pace it out. This takes a lot of time. So we already know making quilts is going to take a lot of time. So take your time. Do it over several days. Do a little bit every day. That's all. And you end up with a beautiful quilt. So I pray that you try this and let me know how beautiful your stuff come out. God bless all of your sewing projects. And may God bless you and your family also. Sew like a pro. Good morning and welcome to Sew Like a Pro Quilting Edition. So this is for beginners quilter because I'm a beginner quilter, and I just wanted you to know that this tool is the most amazing ruler for quilting. To show you how to make sure that everything is lining up on these different degrees. You can just line it up. It's perfect for getting a nice straight edge, making sure that everything is square. It's excellent if you want to quilt. So I'm working on quilts for my granddaughters, and I found this pattern. I thought it was really beautiful. I chose 4 colors. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 colors, like an ombre pattern. But my granddaughter, her favorite color, she says, was blue. So I picked 2 blues, and then I asked her what was her next favorite color, and she said yellow. And then I think it's just a beautiful classic pattern. So in order for me to figure out how to make this pattern, this has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 squares. They all pieced together with 2 colors, and then they alternate the colors to get this rick-rack zigzag pattern. So in order for me to get this, what I did was I want my coverlet, I'm making a coverlet to finish 54 inches wide by 90 inches long. So I want them to really be able to wrap it around it and curl up in it and keep it forever. So I want, this says 6 squares, so I doubled it. I want 12 squares for my pattern because I didn't want a square humongous. So I am trying to quilt where you can do it fast and get it over with. It don't take me a year to get it done. So I took 54 and divided by 12 because I want 12 squares. And then I'm going to take 90 inches long and divide it by 12. No, I'm just going to divide it by my answer. So anyways, forget that. 54 divided by 12 is going to tell me that I need squares that's 4.5 inches square. So I'm going to take that 4.5. I'll take my 90 inches for my finished length and divide it by 4.5 so I know how many I need. 12 to go across, and I need 20 rows. So I need 12 rows across and 20 rows in length. So then you can add those up together and you know exactly how many squares you need to complete this project. So I figured if it's finished, 90 inches finished is 2.5 yards. I need to get at least 1.5 yards of each fabric, and a little more if I'm going to make a pillowcase or a pillow sham to match. So then I take the 2 pieces of fabric. I took the 4.5 inch square, added seam allowance, which is a quarter, which is 1 inch, and a quarter, which is another 1/2 inch. So then I cut squares 5.5 inches wide, 5.5 inch square, so that I could take it. I stitched right down the middle. First, I took it in, I pressed it like that in half, and then I took it and laid the 2 layers together. Stitched down the middle, and then I went back and stitched quarter inch seam allowance, quarter inch seam allowance, split them right up the middle, and then pressed it to one side. That's how I got all my squares. So that way I got 2 stitched together at one time instead of stitching each square. I don't want to just sew this, on its own. It's just easier. And then if you press the square, you can just stitch right along the crease. If you can stitch right along there and get it nice and straight, then you don't even have to stitch down the middle. So then, in order to get this pattern, now all I need to do, this is how I'm going to assemble my quilt. I'm going to take and put all of these together first, the next 12 rows across. And then after I get that row done, I'm going to do these together. 12 rows across in each color until I get all of my 20 rows done. Then I'll go back and stitch them all across to get this quilt pattern. And then I had my granddaughter and her sister, I bought this plain white cotton, 54 inches wide, and I had them just paint it in these same colorways so that they can create the back of their own fabric. And then I had them stamp their hand on it, and then they'll sign it and date it, and they'll have something that they could keep forever and always remember what the sisters did together and how they were part of making the quilt themselves. So I'm telling you, it's easy to figure out the pattern. All you have to do is count the squares. Here's another one that's really beautiful, the stars. And you just count the squares and you determine what size you want finished, whether it's for a crib, a coverlet, a king, queen size bed. You can figure out, you can make the squares as big, as small as you like, or you can determine how many you want to figure out how to make your pattern. Sew like a pro, and let me know how your quilting projects turn out. May God bless all your sewing projects. And I'll see you next time so you can see what this looked like finished.